Welcome back. All right, news of the day video for all you fine people on the internet for your Thursday, June the 13th. Starting off with the Sharks at the top of the board. Ryan Warsofsky has been named the head coach for the San Jose Sharks. If you're a fan of the Sharks, if you follow the Sharks, you'd know the guy. He's been the assistant coach with the team, and he was working with the defensemen with the penalty kill, so he's familiar with the players and with the team. And I am always one that approves of basically hiring from within, promoting guys from within. So this is not a recycled coach. This is not somebody who's been a head coach in the National Hockey League before. We'll see how he does. All the best to him. Of course, the Sharks on the verge of picking up Celebrini at number one in the draft. We'll see what else they do this summer. I would think he'll have a better team this coming fall than what David Quinn had this past season with San Jose. But again, the offseason will tell us how that's going to go. St. Louis with an interesting announcement as well. Doug Armstrong will be staying around as team president. However, while he has signed a 3-year extension with the team, he will not stay as general manager throughout that term. Alexander Steen has taken on a special advisor to the general manager, basically an assistant general manager type role. He will become the team's general manager in 2 years. I don't know that I've seen that before. I mean, I've seen guys come in as assistants that we know are going to take over, but I can't remember ever hearing, yep, this guy will be the GM in 2 years' time. So all the best to the Blues. The Blues, of course, are going to have an interesting offseason too. They've just barely missed the playoffs this past season. Armstrong will stay as team president when Steen takes over as captain. And yes, that is the same Alexander Steen who played a bunch of games in the NHL, so he's well known by the players. I guess we'll see how things go. All the best to Steen. The Canes are working on a long-term extension with Jacob Slavin. His contract runs out in 2025. The Canes have a bunch of contracts between this year and next year that they're going to have to settle out. They want to get the Slavin deal done as soon as possible, so he's eligible to officially sign a contract on July the 1st. We'll see how long it is after that before we see him actually get signed. So tonight in the National Hockey League, it is Game 3. Florida's up 2-0, and I don't have to tell anybody this is an absolute must-win for the Edmonton Oilers. If they lose tonight, the series is over. If they win tonight, Florida still has a really good chance of winning it, but the Oilers need to hold serve at home. Barkov is at practice with Florida, and it was confirmed by Paul Maurice he's going to play. He also confirms that Tarasenko is going to play. Tarasenko missed practice yesterday, but he's going to be in the lineup tonight. And Gustav Forsling has continued the ridiculous run he had during the regular season. He's been a plus 14 in these playoffs thus far. Aaron Ekblad a plus 10 in these playoffs as well. Then you look at the Edmonton side, and things are a little more, concerning if you're an Oilers fan, I would think. First off, the status for Evander Kane and Darnell Nurse is unknown. Apparently, there's more concern about Evander Kane's status than about Nurse's status, but neither Kane nor Nurse have had a great run during these playoffs. Evander Kane's been quiet, and he's a -7 in these playoffs so far. Nurse a -15, and one of the reasons I like plus-minus in the playoffs is because you can see that disparity between one and the other. And again, these guys have just played 3 series, now into their 4th series. Well, Bouchard's a +12, so while he had a rough game too, he's had a pretty good playoffs in terms of his plus-minus and his 5-on-5 play, and Matthias Ekholm a +7. So the Oilers' key tonight, I think, is the power play. Can they get it going? If they can, even if they just score a power play goal, say in the first period, that could go a long way towards getting them through this funk they've been in so far in this series. And really a funk that kind of extends back into the Dallas series, though they were winning those games. Now they're not winning these games. So we'll see how things go tonight. But it definitely looks like there's more uncertainty with the Oilers and their health status than there is with Florida. The Calder Cup final is set. Hershey's overtime win last night. And again, it was a really fun game to watch. And they did that without Ethan Frank, who is their top goal scorer. So we'll see if he's back for tomorrow, because that's when the final starts. So while in the NHL we had almost a full week between the conference finals and the final, in the AHL you don't get that. You get one day off and you go right back at it. At the very least, it's going to start in Hershey, so Hershey doesn't have to get on a plane at all. And they're going to be hosting Coachella Valley. Games 3 through 5 will be in Coachella Valley because they do the 2-3-2 playoff setup. Every now and then I see people saying the NHL should do a 2-3-2. The answer is no. The NHL will never do a 2-3-2. They did it, and didn't like the result. So I don't think we ever see a 2-3-2 setup in the NHL again. The idea being that if you get that split in the first two games, now you've got three at home. It makes it so that at least in the NHL it looked like it wasn't entirely fair to the teams with home ice advantage to start the season that three of the five games are on the road rather than at home. So that's why the part of the reason the NHL went back to the 2-2-1-1-1 setup that we still have now. Pierre LeBrun is reporting that Patrick Laine's time in Columbus could be coming to an end. Absolutely crazy to think that Laine could be on his way out, but apparently both he and the team feel that it's for the best if they part ways. Now, his contract is going to be an issue. Whether we can see it on Cap Friendly or not, we still know that the contract's going to be an issue. It's an $8.7 million cap hit for 2 more seasons. So, yeah, it's going to be tough to trade that. Laine, of course, not playing a lot this past season. And when he did, he didn't look like the 40 to 50 goal scorer he really looked like he was at certain times in Winnipeg. He has been very much a hot and cold scorer. So if Laine's out on the trade blocks, or on the trade market, I should say, then what's the price going to be? And how much money are they going to have to retain to actually be able to move Laine? Or will they take on a contract another team doesn't like in order to move Laine? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Which teams do you think would be in on Laine? Where do you think he would want to go? Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I will talk to you again soon.